Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Tuesday, the 15th of November, 2022. I'm Michael Thompson. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, the ASX closed pretty flat today, declining just 0.1% to 7,142 points. Lithium stocks were really the talk of the day. Lithium prices have hit record levels this year on battery demand, but there's really kind of some debate about whether the strong market conditions can hold. And that meant some falls today, some big falls. Core Lithium was down 16%, Allchem sunk 12%, and Pilbara Minerals shed nearly 9%. Elsewhere, Incitec Pivot rose 6%, Domino's Pizza added 2.4%, while Fisher & Paykel Healthcare lifted 2.5%. On commodity markets, precious metals rose while oil slipped slightly. The Aussie dollar is buying just a touch over 67 US cents. And Bitcoin is trading at around $16,500 US dollars as the fallout from the collapse of FTX continues. On to story number 2 now, and AGL is on track to get out of coal-fired power by 2035 after shareholders approved its climate transition plan and voted yes to 4 of Mike Cannon-Brookes' nominees joining the board. It's being seen as a big victory for Mr. Cannon-Brookes, especially given he controls just 11.28% of AGL. Mr. Cannon-Brookes, who made his money from his stake in tech company Atlassian, unsuccessfully bid for AGL earlier this year and wants to accelerate its move to renewables. AGL is Australia's largest greenhouse gas emitter and owns coal and gas-fired power stations alongside a retail energy division with more than 4 million customers. Story number 3 today, Commonwealth Bank says strong business lending growth fueled a 2% lift in first quarter cash profit to $2.5 billion. It says bad debts are dropping even though interest rates are rising. CBA says home lending increased 6.3% or $5.1 billion, and the growth meant the bank's net interest income lifted 16%. CEO Matt Comyn says his business customers are reporting strong trading conditions. On to story number 4 now, and the flood crisis in New South Wales has intensified, with Forbes residents told to evacuate as the Lachlan River rose faster than expected. Hundreds of people have been rescued from floodwaters in the central west as the spilling Wyangla Dam impacts downstream towns. Warnings remain in place for other towns downriver, and motorists have been told to avoid the region due to damage to roads and bridges. New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet has put the whole state on flood alert and says many difficult days lie ahead. Finally, story number 5, US President Joe Biden met Chinese President Xi Jinping ahead of the G20 summit last night in an optimistic meeting, after which President Biden declared, quote, "There need not be a new Cold War." The meeting signals a renewed willingness to engage between the two countries. President Biden said the US and China would compete vigorously, but were not looking for conflict. It is the first in-person meeting between the two leaders since Biden became president and went for about 3 hours. China told the US that Taiwan was the most significant red line in the relationship. The US president said afterwards that he didn't think China would make an attempt to invade Taiwan, and added that US policy towards the island hasn't changed. Wall Street lost ground overnight. The S&P 500 was 0.9% lower, the Dow Jones was down 0.6%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq closed 1.1% lower. That's it for the afternoon report for Tuesday, the 15th of November, 2022. Adam Lang and I will be back tomorrow morning for the Wednesday edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson. Enjoy your evening.